This is a James Poeartistry consultant moment. Hello, perceptive readers. This is a James Poeartistry consultant moment. This is a reminder to you in your affirmations that some mornings you may feel even better than other mornings after saying something positive to God and about God. Remember, I always say, make sure you express something that you love about Him. Okay. And then make sure you what? Say something you appreciate and love about yourself. Okay. Now, with that thought in mind, I want to let you know that sometimes you can be feeling so good that what does that goodness, that joy inside your heart calls you to do? Well, you go around people, maybe certain people, certain ones you really know, and what? You share that joy with others, don't you? Now, as you're talking, and sometimes we say shooting the gab and all that other stuff, with the small group of audience that you have, then that joy is contagious among them because what? They sync with you, they jive with you. And guess what? It's nothing wrong with that now, is it? And so I want to let you know because this makes me think back to old movie. Okay, it was an old movie, and I'm not going to give the name of the movie. I'm not going to give the names of the main protagonists or antagonists in the movie because basically, when it came to the antagonist, it was a group of um, cliques you see together that looked down, and so you can tell what the setting is. It's mainly in the school settings and things of that nature. And so the thing about it is they had nothing better to do when, they saw certain groups of the ones who weren't popular uh, and putting them down when they seen them do this or do that for one reason or the other. And, it can work on somebody's self-esteem that goes on long enough, doesn't it? So when persons take an interest at times, you see, in these individuals who may not have as much self-esteem about themselves, guess what? It can end up bringing out many marvelous things about themselves in the future, that they would start sharing with others. Now, as they start to do that, for the ones who want to look down still on that person, guess what? They may say that person is becoming too much of themselves. That person has changed and turned this way or that way, all because they won't allow them to tear them down anymore. So what I want to really emphasize to you is this, because in this one movie that I was telling you about, they had gotten so frustrated with this person who was not a part of their clique that they were determined to, some people would say, humble that person. But guess what? No, really, they were humiliating that person. I told you there's a difference. When you talk about humbling a person, sometimes they're normally talking about, at least back in the day, the person was actually really prideful. You see what I'm saying? On far beyond even an alpha level type of personality, even though I don't like to use it. I mean, they just really, it was all about them. And it was so obvious in their actions all the time. Well, see, we're talking about people who normally are everyday people who, some days they up, some days they're down, some days they'll say yes to you, some days they'll say no. And the times that they say no, they shouldn't be looked at, they're thinking they're too much of themselves because they're saying no to themselves. The whole point is you should, not you, I mean, I'm just speaking in general, you, all caps, YOU, should just be able to accept that the same way you want people to accept when you say, no, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do that. And so what happened is they humiliated this person at this major function, you see. Now, I'm sharing this with you because it really set off a thriller moment that went the rest of the movie that blew people's minds. I'm telling you, it really did, for the capabilities that these persons didn't know about, that this person actually had, you see. See, they were so, once again, humble and modest, even with low self-esteem, and yet there was great power in them. But they found out the great power once, you see, they had humiliated that person far beyond. It was far beyond practical joke. It really was practical jokes. Now, I'm sharing it with you to have you keep this thought in mind, especially for you high school students as well. Remember, just because somebody does something to you in front of a whole crowd, it doesn't mean that you deserved it. It doesn't mean you were prideful because you stood up to the bullies. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. See, it doesn't mean, in the sense of the way they looking at it, they humbled you, because guess what? They didn't humble you. You still have the dignity, the right view of yourself that you're supposed to have, and in the way that you've been treating other people. They are the ones who show by their actions they're nothing but a bunch of bullies. And so even if you're embarrassed, it doesn't mean you're humbled by them. Do you get what I'm saying? I want to say more, but I want you to be left with that thought. Just because they embarrass you in front of other people, it doesn't mean you deserved it, and it doesn't mean they humbled you. Because I tell you what, they do that today. You use your power to stand back up tomorrow or even today. Wipe yourself off and keep on going. If they embarrass you tomorrow in some way, remember the same thing. It doesn't mean you deserved it because you stood up to them. Take good care of yourself. This was a James Consultant Moment.